Hello, I'm Adam Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support them. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is another crazy Tuesday in the soap world, and honestly, I am running on coffee and pure adrenaline right now. We have so much to unpack about Genoa City today, and I just need to vent because the writers are throwing everything at us at once. Let's just dive right into the madness. So the truth is finally out about Nikki Newman. We all knew those blinding, terrifying headaches weren't just stress or a bad migraine or whatever she was trying to tell Victoria a few episodes ago. And now we have the official diagnosis, and it is bad. Like, really bad. The medical outlook is incredibly grim right now. She has a tumor pressing directly on her optic nerve. If they don't treat this immediately, she could go completely blind. Or worse. But let's be real for a second. This is daytime TV. Thomas Scott is an absolute legend and one of the core pillars of this show. The fans on social media were freaking out yesterday, but come on. Unless the actor is secretly retiring and didn't tell anyone, Nikki's not going to die. She is going to survive this. But the diagnosis doesn't mean she won't suffer. A tumor is a huge deal. Surgery is scheduled, and the drama leading up to it is already making my head spin. And then we have Victor, the mustache, the old man. Whatever you want to call him, he is being an absolute piece of work right now. Seriously, what is his problem? A few weeks ago, he literally kicked Nikki out of the ranch when she was sick. He was so cold and dismissive to her. And now that he finds out she has a literal tumor inside her skull, suddenly he is rushing to her side to play the doting, worried husband. It is giving me whiplash. I mean, maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe he really is terrified of losing the love of his life. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. They have this epic love story, but his behavior is just so toxic. You can't just throw your wife out like trash and then swoop in like a hero when she gets a terminal diagnosis. It doesn't work like that. But you know who is calling him out? Jack Abbott. And honestly, I am so here for Jack right now. Jack is dealing with his own massive nightmare, which we will get to, but Jack still takes the time to point out the obvious. Stress causes illness. Stress makes everything worse. And who causes more stress than Victor Newman? Nobody. Jack is basically arguing that this grumpy old man exacerbated Nikki's condition with his constant power grabs and family warfare. And Jack is right. Jack and Nikki have so much history. They really care about each other. So seeing Jack take a stand and throw these brutal, digital print-worthy insults at Victor is just chef's kiss. It is exactly what the fans want to see. And let's just talk about Jack for a second, because the fact that Jack is even paying attention to Victor right now is wild. Jack is living in his own personal horror movie. Diane has been missing for weeks. He's running around terrified, and Patty Williams is literally blackmailing him for sex with a picture of Diane in a padded cell. It is dark. It is so dark. But even with all that weighing on him, Jack still takes a moment to look at Victor and say, "You did this." That is true dedication to a rivalry. Jack knows that Victor's endless mind games wear people down, and he is not going to let Victor play the innocent victim here. But wait, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. If you thought Victor was just being a hypocrite, buckle up. Because what he is actually doing right now is straight up evil. I was reading the latest timeline updates and I almost dropped my phone. Victor is not just playing the devoted husband. He is using this medical crisis to rob her blind. Literally. While Nikki is terrified and convinced she is going to die, Victor manipulated her into signing a medical power of attorney. He told her it was just so he could make the best healthcare decisions for her. But hidden inside all that complex legal jargon was a clause that transfers all of Nikki's personal shares in Newman Enterprises into a trust that Victor completely controls. Just let that sink in. I mean, who does that? What kind of husband does that? Who actually believes this is going to end well? Your wife is heavily sedated, crying because she thinks she has a brain tumor that's going to kill her, and you hand her a pen to steal her corporate stock? It is disgusting. And he is liquidating her assets right now, while she is asleep in a drug-induced haze. He claims he's doing it to pay for special therapies, but that is garbage. Victor is a billionaire. He doesn't need to sell Nikki's personal assets to pay a hospital bill. He is looting her estate before she even takes her last breath. I changed my mind from earlier. I am not being too harsh on Victor. I am not being harsh enough. He is a monster. Thank God for Victoria. Victoria is finally starting to see through the cracks. She noticed the asset liquidation. She is starting to realize that her father is basically acting like a grave robber. Victoria and Victor have always had this weird, competitive dynamic, but when it comes to her mother, Victoria doesn't play around. I really hope Victoria blows this whole thing wide open. Can you imagine the blowout when Nikki wakes up from surgery? Assuming she survives and isn't blind. She is going to wake up, reach for her phone, and realize she has 0 shares and no money. The betrayal is going to destroy whatever is left of their marriage. So who is going to do the surgery? Enter Dr. Stephanie Simmons. Honestly, the writers bringing Stephanie back right now is actually kind of brilliant. She hasn't been in Genoa City since the 90s. We all know she originally came back because of the whole Malcolm Winter's health crisis. She had to confess that she hid their son, Holden Novak, for decades. That was a huge mess. But now that the secret is out, Stephanie needs a reason to stay on the canvas. And what better way to cement a doctor's place in town than making her the head of Genoa City Memorial Hospital? So it looks like Stephanie is going to be the one to operate on Nikki's tumor. It makes perfect sense. If Stephanie saves Nikki's sight, she becomes a hero. It elevates her character completely. She won't just be the woman who hid Malcolm's baby anymore. She will be the miracle worker who saved the Newman matriarch. And that guarantees she stays in GC indefinitely. Plus, it adds a fun new dynamic. Will Victor try to bribe her? Will Stephanie notice that Nikki is being oversedated by Victor's private nurses? I am just speculating here. But there is so much potential for Stephanie to get caught in the middle of Victor's shady medical power of attorney scam. And what happens after? Is Nikki going to quickly forgive her husband? I highly doubt it. Before she got sick, she was already furious with him. She blamed him for all the family turmoil because of his endless greed for power. Because remember why Nikki was so mad at Victor in the first place? It was that whole AI disaster. Victor used artificial intelligence to frame Phyllis Summers and got Christine Blair arrested in open court. It was a complete abuse of power. Nikki warned him. She told him not to cross that line, but Victor never listens to anyone. He just does whatever he wants. Consequences be damned. And the consequence was a massive fracture in his marriage. So when Nikki got sick, they were already in a terrible place. And then there's Nick. Poor Nick. He is finally, slowly, crawling his way out of that dark hole. The drug overdose. The fentanyl that Matt Clark poisoned him with. Nick literally crashed his car into a cliff because he was hallucinating. The entire Newman family thought they were going to lose him. Nick is doing better now. He is making some really good progress in his recovery, but the emotional scars are fresh. And now, just as Nick starts to heal, his mother is struck down by this tumor. It's like the universe will not let this family breathe. But of course, Victor uses every family tragedy as an opportunity to grab more power. It's sick. So Nick is doing better, which is a relief. But now the family's attention has completely shifted to Nikki. Victor is going to try to play the savior. He will probably stand by her hospital bed, looking stoic, and then demand she apologize for ever doubting him. Or wait, no, he should be the one apologizing. He has apologized to her 1,000,000 times over the decades, but this time it feels different. You can't just say, sorry, I stole your company while you had a brain tumor. My bad. The fans on social media are already saying they want Nikki to take him to the cleaners in divorce court. But then again, they always get back together. It's an endless cycle. We all know the audience expects a miracle cure. We expect the surgery to be a massive success because that's how soaps work. But before we get that happy ending, we want the drama. We want the messy, ugly, screaming matches. We want Jack to punch Victor. We want Victoria to expose the trust fund theft. We want Nikki to wake up and realize her husband is her biggest enemy. I am so tired of Victor getting away with everything. I really am. But I can't stop watching. So we will see what happens next week. I'll be right here covering it, probably with another massive cup of coffee. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.